This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, and I gotta say, guys, right off the top, for full disclosure here, I love hamburgers. I mean, what's not to like? They have everything you could possibly want wrapped up in a neat little package. They're truly beautiful things. Now, I am well aware, as I'm sure many of you are well aware, that I can't be eating one of these every single day. It's not exactly the most healthy meal options, so we know this is something that we just kind of indulge in every now and then. But what if it's plant-based? I mean, we know that vegetables are good for us and plants in general are good for human beings, so what if the hamburger is plant-based, like what's being offered from Beyond Burger or the Impossible Burger? Surely these options are going to be better for the environment and for the planet and for our own health, right? Well, not so fast, guys. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some information that would counter everything you've heard coming from the mainstream in regards to these Beyond the Meat burgers. We're going to take a look at this article from Business Insider, where the CEO of Whole Foods, where Beyond the Meat burgers got their start in 2013, is now saying that eating plant-based meats is unhealthy. We're going to take a look at this National Post article that says vegan Beyond Meat burgers are just ultra-processed patties that can be bad for our health. We'll also take a look at the mission statement from one of the biggest companies who are producing this product called Beyond Meat, and how they are utilizing propaganda and various marketing techniques to push their product, marketing techniques like this, suggesting that this is going to be beneficial for climate change moving forward. We're also going to take a look at previous examples of when companies have been caught using propaganda to sell their products, and like, for example, when Coca-Cola could no longer claim that vitamin water held any kind of health benefits. We'll also point out the fact that one of the most successful propaganda campaigns to date when it comes to our food was carried out by Edward Bernays, the author of this book, Propaganda, who successfully convinced people that eating bacon and eggs for breakfast was indeed a healthy thing to do. We're also going to look at some of the major companies who are involved with Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger, chains like KFC and Subway and Dunkin' Donuts and, you know, taco places and A&W and Carl's Jr., you know, places where vegans and vegetarians and you know, health conscious people normally wouldn't step foot in are now flocking to these places. We're going to cover all of this in today's video, but before we do, guys, I want to remind you that we are being heavily censored here at Press for Truth, and we need your support, not only by clicking the thumbs up button and sharing the info, but also we need your financial support. And a great way to do that is here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Here you can sign up for a monthly contribution. You can pitch in $5 a month or $10 a month or $20 a month, whatever fits your budget to contribute to Press for Truth to help us to bring you this information on a daily basis. So if you appreciate my efforts here, please check us out at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. All right, so to start this video, guys, I want to point out that, first of all, don't get me wrong here. I am well aware of the fact that there is a major problem when it comes to massive factory farming operations. Animals are being mistreated at an alarming rate, and something needs to be done about this. However, I'm of the opinion that some of the directions that society is being steered into in terms of solutions for this very real problem are in fact being orchestrated by the puppet string pullers, as I call them, who want to maintain our unhealth. This is coming at the hands of those who are in bed with Big Pharma, and they do not want us to get healthy, guys. So today we're gonna prove to you that that's exactly what's going on when it comes to these Impossible Burgers and Beyond Burgers that are now being heavily promoted. Let's start with this from Business Insider. "I will not endorse that," says the CEO of Whole Foods. The CEO and co-founder of Whole Foods has some concerns about the plant-based meat craze. John Mackey told CNBC on Wednesday that plant-based meat substitutes are good for the environment, but not for our health, echoing concerns that have been raised by dietitians and nutritionists in recent weeks. If you look at the ingredients, they're super highly processed foods, Mackey told CNBC. I don't think eating highly processed foods is healthy. I think people thrive on eating whole foods, he added. As for health, I will not endorse that. And that's about as big as a criticism I will do in public. So he makes the very important point that the Beyond Meat burgers are incredibly highly processed foods, and we know that highly processed foods are not good for us. In fact, this National Post article gets into it in detail with examples. Like here, it says for someone who has hypertension, for example, a Beyond the Meat burger at A&W, which has more than half your daily requirement of sodium, 1,110 milligrams, is not a good option. Conversely, A&W's Teen Burger, which has bacon in it, has only 910 milligrams of sodium. A 113-gram Beyond Meat patty has 250 calories, 18 grams of fat, 390 milligrams of sodium, and 20 grams of protein. Health Canada says that 113 grams of lean ground beef, okay, the real deal, contains 292 calories, but just 16.5 grams of fat as opposed to 18. 105 milligrams of sodium as opposed to 390, and 33 grams of protein instead of just 20. So for comparison, 113 grams of Eve's Veggie Burger, which is typically 75 grams, contains 165 calories, 9 grams of fat, 602.4 milligrams of sodium, and 18 grams of protein. These consumers are blindly purchasing foods that they think are healthy because they associate it with a plant, which is a very good point. I mean, French fries are plant-based, guys, but you know, those aren't exactly good for you. Goes on here, Michael Rogers, a food scientist at the University of Guelph, worries that the proliferation of Beyond Meat is only adding to a growing food crisis, where in Canada, 50% of people's calories come from ultra-processed foods. And that's the issue here, guys, is that this Beyond the Meat burgers are incredibly highly processed meat. And as you know, we've known ever since, the Industrial Revolution, really, our food has been tampered with for longer shelf life and things of that nature. And the highly processing of it manipulates the proteins, and it reacts differently with our bodies. I mean, that's been proven a long time ago. Now, let's look at their mission statement coming directly from Beyond Meat. This is the biggest company that is producing this. It says, by shifting from animal to plant-based meat, we are creating one savory solution that solves 4 growing issues attributed to livestock production, which, as we pointed out, is a real problem. So what are they solving here? Number 1, human health. Number 2, climate change. Number 3, constraints on natural resources. And number 4, welfare. Well, first of all, with number 1, human health, what evidence has Beyond Meat or Impossible Burger or any of these other companies that are now popping up in this craze, what evidence have they presented to this point that there is at all any health benefits to eating highly processed plant-based foods? Zero. There is zero evidence. That's the answer. They have not shown us any bit of evidence whatsoever that highly processed plant-based foods is in fact good for you. Climate change? I mean, it seems obvious to me, guys, that whole food-based plant alternatives to meat is a better option when it comes to the environment and creating a larger footprint than highly processed foods. I mean, that should be clear and obvious. As this article points out, Beyond Meat uses climate change to market fake meat substitutes, and scientists are cautious. As concerns mount over the dangers of a rapidly warming planet, upstart food companies are targeting a major climate-damaging food, beef. Beyond Meat and its privately held rival Impossible Foods have recently grabbed headlines and fast food deals for their plant-based burgers that imitate the taste of beef. They've also turned the environment benefits of abstaining from meat into a key marketing tool for their products, drawing some skepticism from environmental researchers who say that plant diets are healthier and less carbon emitting than producing processed plant-based products. And I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me. So their claim that it's healthier for humans is unfounded. Their notion that this is beneficial for climate change is also unfounded. And look, we've seen the claims of major companies like this be unfounded and proven in the courts to be untrue before, like in the case with Coca-Cola and vitamin water. Guys, they had a PR problem on their hands. They knew that they were being accused of contributing to the obesity problem. And so what did they do? They unleashed vitamin water, their healthy substitute, their healthy alternative. Sound familiar? Well, as it turns out, guys, vitamin water is nothing of the sort. It's not healthy at all. In fact, it's quite bad for you. Coca-Cola is prohibited from making health claims related to its vitamin water product after the final approval of a settlement agreement following a year-long legal dispute. This vitamin water settlement is good news for consumers, said Jeff Cronin, Director of Communications for the Center for Science and the Public Interest, and a litigant in the case. Coca-Cola was making all kinds of health claims on vitamin water. Some of the statements they were saying, guys, for example, vitamins plus water equals all you need. And this combination of zinc and fortified vitamins can keep you healthy as a horse. I'll leave all the links to all these articles in the description below so you can verify this information for yourself. But the propaganda campaign was heavy with vitamin water being marketed as a healthy option to, soda pop. And now we're seeing plant-based, highly processed foods as being a healthy option to meat. I mean, I hope people can see the correlation here and see what's going on. And again, let's not forget what Edward Bernays did. He spoke about it in his book here, Propaganda. He was hired by a meat company. This article gets into it. Who was it? The Beech Nut Packing Company, okay? Hired Edward Bernays back in I think it was the 1920s. To sell more bacon. And he realized, being a PR genius, the father of public relations, the guy who wrote Propaganda, he knew if he could convince the doctors that it was healthy to eat bacon and it was better for you, that people would take the advice of their doctors. And he got one doctor who was involved with his public relations firm to suggest that eating bacon was good for you in the morning because of all the lost energy over the past 8 hours of sleeping. And this was a propaganda campaign that was hugely successful. It says here, Bernays, after he got the doctor to say this, requested that this doctor write 5,000 of his medical colleagues, asking them to agree that a heavy breakfast was the best way to start the day due to a loss of energy overnight. Newspapers had headlines saying that 4,500 physicians urge heavier breakfasts, Bernays recalled years later. The publications specifically mentioned bacon and eggs as taking care of the problem. So the campaign was a success, and the Beech Nut Company went on to sell tons and tons of more bacon, and that was the point. But guys, as we all know, bacon is not a healthier option. It's high in fat and sodium and calories. And, this was revealed later. But this goes to show that this has been going on for decades now, where they're trying to convince you of a healthier option. And as it turns out, it's a complete lie. It's a huge propaganda campaign to in fact, keep you unhealthy. And not only that, what troubles me about this is I'm seeing a lot of really awesome vegans and vegetarians and health conscious minded people, friends of mine, people who really care about the environment and care about the abuse of animals, which is an awesome thing, and I love them for it. But they are now marching into these fast food chains and supporting fast food restaurants, the very same restaurants they used to, not touch with a 10-foot pole, they are now championing for because of the fact that they've gotten behind these companies. Companies like KFC, is getting involved in this. Like we said, Subway sandwiches, Dunkin' brands, Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, are these the kind of companies that vegans and vegetarians ought to be promoting for their fellow vegans and vegetarians to go in here and buy their products? A&W? Really? TGI Fridays? Really? Burger Friday? Carl's Jr.? I mean, it's really sad to me that the propaganda campaign has worked that much, that people are flooding to these types of restaurants when really, like the guy from Whole Foods says, really, whole food plants are really where it's at. I mean, we don't need to be processing it down and manipulating the proteins within the plant so that it's not going to be beneficial to humans. How about we just eat the whole plant as is if you want to be healthier for yourself, healthier for the environment? That's the way to go, guys. So really, when it comes to the Beyond Burgers and the Impossible Burgers, I would just ask as a takeaway here that, forgive the pun, but take it with a grain of salt, guys. We've been lied to in the past from these major companies about, healthier options. And I have a very strong feeling that the Beyond Burger and the Impossible Burger are also not necessarily healthy options that we ought to be looking at. So something for you to consider today, guys. We're really only getting one side of the story when it comes to these products. And I just wanted to point out, not everything is as it seems. Remember, we've been lied to about these things before. So maybe think twice before you flock to these fast food chains in order to try the Beyond the Meat burger and, just simply because it's plant-based. Remember, French fries are plant-based too. That doesn't necessarily mean they're good for you. So if you agree or disagree, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you tried the Beyond Burgers? Do you think they're good? Is it good for the environment? Could it be good for our health? Or are we being used as guinea pigs here? Do we not know the health benefits and maybe this is in fact not good for us? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And don't forget to click the thumbs up button, guys, on this video. Share this with your friends and family. As I said, we're being heavily shadow banned here at Press for Truth, so we need your support when it comes to sharing this content. And don't forget to check the links in the description to find out how you can support us here financially at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Or you can give a one-time donation at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Links are located right here on the screen or in the description below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because we are going to have more video reports coming soon. So that is all for today, guys. Once again, take it all with a grain of salt when it comes to the plant-based meatless burgers moving forward. That's all for today. Don't forget to share this video, click the thumbs up button, and stay tuned for more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.